Welcome back to Core4Adventures. You know, Laura and I are new to cruising, and we heard a lot of rumors and a lot of myths before we actually went on our very first cruise that really had us worried. However, we found out that most of those weren't true at all.
So we're here today to tell you about the common myths that we heard before we went on our first cruise and the actual facts.
But before we get going on that, if you find anything of value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. And also we want to invite you to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell because we release new content every single Sunday. And we'd love to have you join us.
So the first myth that we heard was that cruises were expensive. Now, sure, there's some luxury cruise lines that can be rather pricey, but cruises are all-inclusive for the most part. You're getting your room and board, you're getting your food, you're getting your beverage package. In most situations, you're really getting it all, your entertainment all in one number. And if you were to figure out how much money you actually spent on a land vacation, you would realize that cruises can be a little bit of a bargain.
Well, and you also can't forget about the fact that the transportation is built in, which allows you to see multiple places in one trip versus just going to one all-inclusive and just staying in one location the whole entire time.
That's a great tip. It is one of the things I really love about cruising is that my hotel room moves from port to port at night so that I get to see a lot more locations on that trip.
And so if you add up all of those costs like transportation, hotel, food, drinks, entertainment, it really is a reasonable way to travel. It just has to get over that initial sticker shock of the cruise itself. But you can get a really great deal if you shop around. So the second thing that we heard that we were very concerned about was how seasick we would get out on the open water. The fact is, as these modern ships, you hardly feel them move at all.
You really do. I was very scared about getting seasick. In fact, it was probably my number one deterrent from going on a cruise before I did. And Carol really had to kind of pull me along on the first cruise that we went on because I was so scared about getting seasick. I even talked to my doctor about it and she prescribed me several different medications. The only one I needed to use was that scopolamine patch.
And that's just it, is that there are plenty of different remedies if you do get motion sick. You can take Dramamine or Bonine. There are sea bands. You can have some ginger or ginger ale. Green apples can really help settle seasickness. And again, if worst comes to worst, talk to your doctor and get a prescription for the patch that you wear right behind your ear, because I can tell you that that works really, really well.
Right? I think you had a little bit of a problem on your very first cruise and you just popped the patch on and that solved it. I didn't take a chance. I had that patch on from the time I got on the ship to the time I got off and I had no problems at all. And even without the patch, I just really didn't feel a lot.
No.
Even on the open ocean.
Even when we went to Alaska and the waves were a little bit bigger than what you had experienced in the Caribbean, the stabilizers on the ship really do an excellent job.
So the number 3 myth is that the cruise is going to feel confined and crowded. Now, yes, there are a lot of people on those big ships, but they're gigantic and there's so many different venues and areas for people to hang out in. I never felt like it was overly crowded at any point.
Now, there are some specific venues within the ship that may feel crowded. Like when we went to see a cover band that was doing Beatles songs, it was a very, very small venue. So you just had to get there early. But if you don't want to be in the crowds, there's plenty of opportunities to go find something else to do because there is a wide variety of activities available for you on the ship.
I think that's something to think about. If it feels too crowded in the area you're in, just go do something else. There's going to be an area that does not feel crowded to you and you're not going to feel confined. There's so many outdoor spaces too. So if you're feeling claustrophobic, go out on deck. There's some beautiful views no matter where you are because you're right on the ocean.
And I don't think that you can really put it into words how massive these ships really are and how open and spacious they feel, especially if you're out on like the waterfront, the promenade deck, or up on the pool deck. It doesn't feel confined in any way at all. The next myth that we heard before we took our first cruise is that cruising was only for older people. And I don't think that that is the case at all. First of all, I don't consider us to be in the senior set. We are getting up there, but you know, Gen Xers for the win. Actually, there was a wide variety of people that were on the cruises that we've been on. You will have some seniors. You will also have young passengers that are there with their families as well.
Right. I think there was everyone from like 2 to 92 on our last cruise. And it didn't feel like 90% of them were 92 either. It felt like a very wide variety. And so I feel like there's going to be someone to hang out with for anyone that's looking for someone else to hang out with on a cruise. So the next myth is that you're going to gain weight on a cruise. I think this comes from the days of the cruises where they were just giant buffets and that was really all you had. Now, yes, we're going to indulge in a lot of rich foods when we're on vacation, but every time we go on vacation, we walk at least 10,000 steps a day, if not double or triple that. So you're kind of walking off those calories too.
And the ships come equipped with fitness centers where you can go get a workout in every day if you're worried about that. You can go for a walk around the walking track. Most ships have something like that. And another great tip that I've heard from people is instead of taking the elevators, just always take the stairs to get those extra steps in.
And I feel like they're being far more accommodating these days with the variety of food. And if you really do want to eat healthy on that vacation, there are ways to do that too.
Another cruise myth that you hear quite frequently is that you will get bored on board the ship. And I can tell you that that couldn't be any further from the truth. They are packed full of games, trivia, bingo, entertainment, Broadway level shows. You can go to a demonstration. You could just read a book. You could go to the spa or the pool. There was just so much to do. If you're bored, that's your fault.
There is literally something for everyone on those ships. You're going to find an activity that meets your needs. And if no activity is what's meeting your needs, there's that too. There's tons of loungers to hang out on. You can go hang out on the pool deck or the promenade deck. You can go to the spa, like she said. You can have as relaxing and calm of a vacation or as exciting of a vacation as you want.
And don't forget about the port days, because those really give you so much value in a cruise, where you get to go to a different location almost every single day, and you get to get off the ship and go explore and really see the world.
So the next myth we heard was that cruises are risky or dangerous. You've heard some of the horror stories about people getting stuck on a ship for a long period of time, but those ships could not be any safer. They have so many safety standards and things that they have to adhere to. I never felt unsafe.
No, they actually do a really good job of explaining all of the safety measures that they take into account. You do have to do that mandatory muster drill at the beginning of every cruise, so you know what to do if an emergency arises. They can't guarantee nothing is going to happen, but it's the risk that you take to travel anywhere, let alone on a cruise. Another thing about the safety is that these ships are state of the art. They've got the best navigation and communication systems that you can find. So I felt completely safe when we were out in the open seas. So the next cruise myth is that if you're cruising, you're going to miss out on some of those authentic travel experiences. However, what we found when we went to the different ports of call is that you get a taste of them. You're not going to get a full overnight 6-hour meal in Italy, but you're going to get the flavor of the country so that you can go back and explore it more at a deeper level. We didn't feel cheated out of an authentic experience at all on any of our travels.
And the nice thing is we get to have a little taste of multiple cities. So in Alaska, we went to several different cities and we got to feel the culture and experience of each of those cities.
And in fact, when we were in Glacier Bay National Park, they brought some park rangers on board, so we got an even more in-depth information and authentic experience than if we had booked an excursion through a different line.
And it comes down to the excursions that you're booking in those cities. If in a city you're booking an authentic cooking class or food tour, you're really going to get an authentic feeling experience. If you book something super touristy that doesn't feel like the location, of course you're going to feel a little cheated. You need to do your research and make sure that what's important to you in those cities are what you go and do.
And that's just it, is do what you like to do. I don't mind going to the touristy destinations because I really like the touristy activities. There's a reason why they are so popular.
And myth number 9 is that cruises are environmentally unfriendly. And although they're not the most environmentally friendly way to travel, they certainly are getting better every day. I don't know how many times I've heard recently about different ports that are setting up so that the cruise lines have to hook into their shore power so that it's using a lot less power. And just keep in mind, if every single person on that cruise is going to the same destination on their own, is it really worse for the environment for us all to be on that cruise?
I think that all of these industries are continually evolving, and I think that they are taking steps to travel in a greener way on cruise lines as well.
In fact, the cruise line that we've been going on has like some kind of environmentally friendly drink every day, and they're trying to use as much of their food waste as humanly possible.
So the final cruise myth that we have to talk to you about today is that you are forced to dress up for a formal night. And that couldn't be any further than the truth. Now, for us, we actually really like to dress up for the formal nights because we think it adds that extra special touch. But if you are a casual Kathy and you do not want to dress up, you never have to. They're not going to force you to do that.
And if you are super worried about that, don't go on a cruise line that's known for that.
Right.
Like cruise lines like Cunard are known for wanting you to dress up in black tie for the dining room every night. We don't go on that cruise line.
You pick the cruise line that fits your lifestyle, including whether you want to be casual or dressy.
And even if you do find that you're on a cruise line that's not the right fit for you, there's always the buffet if you don't want to dress up. And if you find you're on a more casual cruise line than you anticipated, go ahead and dress up. NCL absolutely does not have formal nights. They don't force people to dress up, but we always love to. Not only does it make us feel like we had a special night and experience, but we go and get some pictures taken of ourselves, and it's a great opportunity for that.
Well, that wraps up our top 10 cruise myths that we heard as first-time cruisers. Have you heard a cruise myth that is worrying you about taking a cruise? If you do, drop it in the comments below and we will respond and let you know if it's true or not.
And if you got anything out of this content, we'd love it if you'd like that video. And subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell because we do put out new content every week and we'd love for you to be along.
So thank you again so much for watching us today. If you'd like more travel tips, we've got our entire playlist link for you below. We will catch you next time, next Sunday, right here on Core4 Adventures. Bye!
Bye!